blue side doesn't hold much value. One thing that is consistent is red side has banned Hecarim both games, now all 3 games. So it's interesting that they think that ban is even more valuable than the wraparound from whatever the first pick Gragas has been.
Already seeing could be Thresh banned out by Cloud9 again. The Janna could follow as well to make sure Lustboy gets hit up once more. As Lemon Nation's Nautilus is taken out. We've seen that these bans have not stopped Lemon Nation and the rest of the supports, such as Lustboy, from entering the jungle early game, really getting in the hair of the other team.
And exact same bans from game 1.
Right.
When TSM was blue and Cloud9 was red. And I like this, actually. How TSM lost to the Urgot. Didn't lose too high Urgot, but the Urgot was on the other side.
Right.
And the Gragas versus Sejuani doesn't seem like it has first pick value with the way Sejuani ultimates have been landed in this series. They've been more potent, I would say, than the early game Gragas jungling. Makes you question whether Meteos will even pick Gragas on this rotation or if he's just going to side with Sejuani.
I wouldn't mind if that goes to the mid lane, seeing Hai go back to Orianna if it's something he's actually had his hands on. Xiao was really able to turn the tide. It wasn't the easiest lane, but it definitely proved to be big during the team fights. And it's kind of where these games are panning out, right? It's not a win lane win game for these teams. Too much has happened in the mid game to really make that early game a big impact. It's going to be Gragas, though, for Meteos the Scion as well for balls to come in this game.
Yep. Still, in theory, the Gragas can stand in front of the Sejuani and pull off some big plays there.
Yeah.
It will put emphasis on Meteos to make plays in the early game, though. This time, they're kind of trading champions that they have been defeated by.
You could say that.
Yeah, very similar champion pools across a lot of the players here.
Yeah. Definitely a very strong pickup here. We've heard Wild Turtle say in the past, when they get the better comp, Corki is one of the names that he shouts out in that list of the composition that they've picked up. So this will be good for him.
Well, especially Riv, because they have physical damage mid laner right now.
True.
That getting Corki as an AD carry is pretty good still.
Really
the
good point.
Splash of magic damage they'll be able to get.
Definitely seems not flustered, but they are taking a lot of consideration into whatever pick goes with this Corki. It's going to be Maokai, and they lock that in for Dyrus.
Definitely a lot of discussion there, you're right. About Wild Turtle. They were basically just getting his input on what he wanted from the AD carry in this game.
Yeah.
Corki will end up working here, but they pick it blind pretty much into whatever Cloud9's bottom lane wants to be. Still some unpredictability on the support picks in this series. We've seen Braum and Morgana from Lemon Nation. Lustboy's played Nami and Kennen. I doubt they'll play Kennen without Kalista, though.
Where are the comms for C9? There we go. Lemon's starting to talk, so it's definitely going down the line here as they pan this out. C9 usually a team to wait all the way down to the last moment anyways, and double lock in to give TSM the least amount of time to come up with a pick. So far, TSM definitely shows that they can fight, and it looks like that fight is going to be matched by a little bit of fight of their own. Cloud9 pick up Sivir and Braum.
Getting the extra move speed in a team fight is very important for Cloud9.
Yep.
Especially even in that last game. A lot of times Bjergsen would just use Ghost at the start of the fight on Kog'Maw, and then no one could touch him. Cloud9 wants a way to match that type of move speed. And they want to be the one dictating the fights.
Ha ha.
Remember, we are on the 5.6 patch before the massive buffs to Bard that happened in 5.7. Does that look like a face of a man about to play Bard? I think not.
I don't know. I can't see. Who's there? Oh, well, there he is. His last point. 12 seconds. What's the swap going to be? Definitely going to get something in here. A Kennen?
Ooh.
Again?
No Kalista this time. But still the Kennen. All right.
That's very, very interesting. Even more poke from that lane. However, though, not going to be just kind of stuck to dashing around when you auto-attack and poke. Now you can throw out the Phosphons and the missiles once you get the chance. So TSM, again, going with a composition where they can whittle down their opponent a little bit before getting there. See if it works. And so what is a big, big tanky line so far for Cloud9.
And what do they pick to complete it? They need a pretty solid laner to go up against Urgot.
Yeah.
There's still a super outside chance that TSM could do Urgot 80 carry and Corki mid, but it's highly unlikely just because Bjergsen has had success on Urgot and Wild Turtle is so comfortable on Corki.
Loves Corki.
So Cloud9 can, with most certainty, pick something against Urgot here, but this is where High's champion pool does get tested because the 2 champions he's picked so far this series, TSM controls. And he goes for a Lulu, of all things. Drew some gasps from the crowd.
Not too thrilled about that, but they are getting what they need for this best of 5 series here. Haven't seen too many Lulus put up big numbers, but Xiao here in the North American LCS. We'll see what High can do.
TSM also has the Corki mid right now.
They do. The 22nd is the last moment they can swap for that champion select.
I'm wondering if they're going to stick with that. Bloop. And it's back.
Yeah.
Those guys. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the Lulu mid here, specifically against the Urgot. It is a fairly resilient champion to the Urgot because you're not a victim to the lock-on as much as other people are since you can shield yourself.
Yeah.
As well, Lulu does work quite well with Sivir for the overall speed, but it is not your typical protection comp. Cloud9 may be very low on damage here unless Sneaky really gets going, which is a big danger here. Leaving the last pick to the mid laner and then getting something that feels like an underwhelming pick does tend to happen when you're against an Urgot. There's not very many good picks against an Urgot.
Yeah.
None that have been proven to work every game. So
not just yet.
Not very many is an understatement.
We'll see what they can do. You know what that graphic means. It's time to update your votes for who you think is going to win this championship series. Tweet hashtag TSM win or hashtag C9 win to @LOL Esports. Obviously, we will be tallying those up throughout the game. High with this Lulu pick. Definitely a question from the crowd, maybe the fans, but Cloud9 hoping that the mentality and the physical prowess still strong as they reach game 3 here. We're definitely going to have 2 more games. It's basically now a best of 3 as both teams are up 1-1. Maybe with this in the mid lane, they have been keeping Bjergsen there, right? His roam has been down because they're focusing High. Maybe High can kind of do the opposite on that and push him in. Yeah. High says Bjergsen's wave control is just one of the things, though, that makes this split's MVP so dangerous.
The way he controls his wave lane, like whether he wants to push or keep on his side, he really likes to abuse that. Say you're pushing out, right? And you don't have wards, you're going to get ganked or he's going to pressure that gank on you. So he does everything he can to try and abuse you for being in a bad spot or if you're trying to greed for something.
And we see that time and time again.
Yep.
When we even saw it in game 1, when High was getting the return gank, especially once they can burn that mid laner's flash in the early game. Bjergsen is able to prep that mid lane wave in just the right spot. However, the early games have been very traded between these 2 teams.
Mm-hmm. Much back and forth. Really, the only tangent has been when the supports have entered the jungle. But we also have seen that junglers can get themselves out of that. Santorin, namely, did not get hurt by being pushed off of his jungle at level 1. Here, a little more lax, but Lemon Nation, as well as Lustboy, is going to have that chance again to get themselves in the jungle and harass.
Yeah, pretty cool. They didn't actually get super deep wards.
Right.
But they're going to end up with the lane swap again. The level 1 games by these guys have become very advanced. Lustboy getting all his Spell Thief gold for just auto-attacking right now. Ultimately, Meteos won't let him secure this blue, though. He's got a smite. But once again, Lustboy will probably push Cloud9 all the way to the other side of the jungle. They do not want to deal with that harass. They saw what happened when they themselves did the support harass to Team Liquid earlier on in the playoffs.
So they're actually 2 on this one. Lemon Nation definitely came down a little bit later.
Yeah.
Huh.
Strange. This time,
yeah,
TSM wins pretty heavily on that. Notice how they cleared their entire jungle right there, whereas Cloud9 just the 1 camp. It's basically over a level of a single player's experience to the edge of TSM.
That sapling worked out really well for Dyrus. It didn't actually push the lane any, just ran over to Sneaky. That one will, however. It's going to be hard for him to get some CS here in the early game. It's what he's used to. He's already up by 6 for that jungle effort. So level 3 will keep him pretty nice.
It's really strange what happened there. Like, both teams have the same idea of a solo support walking into counter jungle.
Yep, it's been every game.
Cloud9 is playing it very defensively when they start their jungle. They are sending both people immediately onto the buff so that no one can push them off the buff when they get there. Yet Lemon Nation was very late in his invade, which allowed TSM to make a much greedier start. Dyrus took one camp, Santorin took another camp, then they grouped for the buff. Therefore, if Lemon Nation would have invaded early, he could have pushed them off the early buffs and then pushed them off the main one. But because he was late, he doesn't stop anything.
Same as last time.
They were almost expecting TSM to do a conservative start,
right,
where an early invade would have been protected by the smite of the jungler and the take of the buff. But because they just guessed wrong, TSM gets the early game lead.
Trying to make it that same as last time, where you would just walk in with Riptide and be a nuisance on Nautilus. I guess not as easy here. Looking at that top now of Balls and Wild Turtle, they're going to be matched up here in the lane. Should go pretty evenly. Wild Turtle's obviously going to stay very safe here. We'll see what Balls decides to go. It's interesting to see Dyrus level up that Soul Furnace right away, but just 1, 2, 3 for Balls right now.
I kind of doubt we'll see another maxed shield lane scion.
It's like Gragas, or rather Meteos, doing a good job at getting all the scuttles. He's definitely going to be up in a bit of gold there. And the Lust Boy, the side roam, is able to see him. So thwarts his roam towards the bottom lane. They now know where he is. And it doesn't look like Santorin's really in a position to gather anything off of this, but more of his own jungle. He is going ahead and get a ward out, however, since he's cleared everything.
Yeah, and looking at early jungle CS, I mean, again, Santorin is ahead of Meteos, level-wise. Very good job by him, making sure to control his own experience, gets his jungle upgrade before Meteos as well. Therefore, can maybe even be out on the map before Meteos.
Here's what we were looking for from high. Glitter, Lance, all you can to get that wave into the turret. I'm sure Bjergsen is having a hard time farming. We may actually see some movement from Santorin there in a little bit to relieve that pressure. Right now we're watching that pressure in the top lane. Balls is having trouble at the bottom a bit here. And Dyrus in the top lane.
Very high-leveled solo laners as well. Not much denial going on.
That's a good point. Because
of the support invades early. This time it really didn't pay off for Cloud9. Trying to shut down the jungle, they end up shutting down no one. Dyrus and Santorin both off to decent starts.
Double rip
bodes well for Cloud9 in this game.
As well for Dyrus. Getting that HP, making sure he can stay safe in lane. Balls' teleport still up. Dyrus has used his Ahri to get back to lane, so he's hoping to stay here for quite some time. That may give Meteos something to gear for. Right now he's inside the jungle. He's going to find the boar. 5 to 4.
Yeah.
Doesn't want that.
Half a level behind. Meteos not even halfway to level 5. And getting more and more behind Santorin. At least he has the intel of where Sejuani is.
Yeah.
But he also needs to now respect that Santorin's going to be hitting level 6 pretty soon. 2 more jungle camps and he's there.
Whew, a lot of pressure on the Balls in that bottom wave on the minimap. You can kind of see him. They ran right past the minion wave to get damage on, and he stayed safe. Meteos clears top side. Looks like he doesn't have too much to do, so may go towards the mid lane after this. But both teams here definitely lacking to get any of their advantages to go to work. 600 gold lead for TSM is all they're working with.
Which is substantial, only 7 minutes in with no kills. That 600 gold lead. This has been
numbers.
Yeah, it's been more of a one-sided. And look at the wave control. Bjergsen was praised for his wave control, but Cloud9 pushing into a level 6 Dyrus that they won't be able to dive. He's going to get a huge wave met. Whereas you look at the other side of the map, and Balls is getting denied down in the bottom lane. It's being frozen by Wild Turtle and Lust Boy, and plays aren't being made in any side. Even now, Santorin, with level 6, is trying to push them off their own blue buff. He is so brazen in this move because he's on the strong side of the map for TSM.
They know the level disparity cannot be fought at all. Santorin completely pushes off Meteos there. He's left to kind of just scratch his head, run back to base.
Seriously, a crushing early game so far from TSM. From the very beginning, the invade from Lustboy pushing Cloud9 to the other side of the jungle. The late invade from Lemon Nation that does not deny TSM at all in their greedy start. Add to that the wave control in both of the side lanes.
Yeah.
Dyrus eating experience at his turret. Balls starving at his turret. 2 level advantage in the jungle. 2 level advantage in the top lane. 1.5 in the jungle, and an 800 gold lead off minions alone.
And really? I was about to say, the mid lane matchup being even kind of shows the threat that Lulu didn't pose to Santorin going in the jungle. He wasn't worried if High came over. He would have been able to get out easily anyways.
And this is huge. Again, the wave control is key in this game. Santorin broke that because he knew the wave would freeze against High, and High needed to shop. If High leaves right here, he loses 2 waves of experience. That's why he wanted to stick around, shove that wave into the turret, not let it freeze, and then he's able to shop. But it's a delayed shop. Bjergsen, full, able to get his blue buff without punishment, increasing TSM's edge.
Great timing is here as well for the blue. Something I've been watching more lately, but haven't watched enough games yet to really see who does it and who doesn't. But a lot of mid laners who get blue and then back, you're losing good 30 seconds on that blue. That if other people are aware of that, they're going to use that window at some point.
Always ideal to get blue right after you come out of shot. Obviously, you can't always set that up. Sometimes you lose vision control. Sometimes the enemy preps a trap for you.
Or you want to get your buff off the map so they don't.
All those things. I mean, Cloud9 couldn't control their own blue buff this game. They were trying to get it off the map, actually, but Santorin beat them to that spot.
The duos have matched back up. We'll see how this fares. It hasn't been like this for too long, but we can already see level 7 for Wild Turtle over the 6 and 5 to Sneaky and Elimination. Pressure here towards Bjergsen in mid. There is the flash ult that they wanted. The teleport in is going to keep Bjergsen there. He chooses to swap out onto Meteos. That's the guy that was going to do the damage and keep him in the fight, and they turn that one around for a kill. Dyrus' teleport comes in and gets it.
Great job by Bjergsen there, withstanding the burst from the Cloud9 gank. Meteos using his E-Flash, and it actually gets turned around on him. That is disastrous for a Gragas jungle. Getting first blood onto Dyrus as well will only extend the disparity in that top lane matchup. TSM with a fantastic start.
Bjergsen saying thank you very much, Summoner Heal, throughout that play. Definitely helping him to stay alive on that one. High tried to get the Ignite down, but it did not cut through enough. TSM's pressuring this, but it looks like Cloud9 is getting in their face a little bit as well. I don't think they'll be able to work off that too much, just some trade damage.
Yeah, Cloud9 in a pretty tough spot right now. They need to make some opportunity here with Sneaky and Elimination. Sneaky as the main damage source needs to be the one that's fed in this matchup. Currently he's got a BF sword to a Sheen, slight advantage. Balls also looking like he's going down bottom lane. Cloud9 needs to consolidate right now since they are losing the split-up game and try and put everything onto Sneaky at this point.
See how that first gank went through.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically just Meteos flashing in for the E, but nice heal as he's getting ignited. And honestly, Maokai plus the Sejuani ultimate leaves little for Hyde to escape from. Meteos did not want to commit for that because it easily would have been a kill traded back.
Again, a game where they try to keep Bjergsen down and get a kill for him.
And during that entire replay, Balls has been standing at the Cloud9 turret, hoping that TSM would get aggressive in this game.
Waiting for that ult, yeah.
They end up pinking a brush to get vision control, but they've already shown 3 in the bottom lane. If they're losing so much time, if Cloud9 doesn't make a kill or 2 out of this, and instead just trades turrets,
this becomes the impractical version of the home guard Hecarim now. You wait for the fight to happen, and then you come flying in, but did not get the fight. A waste of time there, but they do get the turret, so the team does gain a bit of an advantage here. Dyrus is trying to get this wave cut before it even gets to the top turret, so given a good bit of harass there, and TSM controls the top of the map quite well. Whoa!
Oh my.
Flying through Lustboy, and is going to get the turn for Bjergsen onto High. Great communication there, and High, look, he wasn't even expecting that, and I think that's the problem.
That is the problem. There's a lapse in vision control from Cloud9. They spent 2 minutes trying to set up a gank in the bottom lane, not warding River. As soon as they did that, since TSM had abandoned the bot lane, Lustboy makes a completely unexpected play. Instead of basing, runs to mid lane, gets the gank for Bjergsen, and that is a very smart roam.
Yep. This one seems to be extended to more players of Team Solomid as well. It's not just the High focus that can seem to come back to bite them this time. They're working the advantage nicely. And Smite goes off. Nicely done by Meteos to get that.
Yeah, he waited for the barrel to be max charged, smited with it. Very good secure there by Meteos. critical in order for them to stay in this game, actually.
Yeah.
That they control some of their own objectives, because TSM has just been steamrolling them to this point, 13 minutes in.
Well, they know they have the advantage, so they're trying to create that pressure. Santorin, impressively, not afraid to do that all over the map. We already saw the early blue roams, and the double sights from him and him and Lustboy, rather, are going to allow them to keep doing that.
And if we're looking at this game, bigger picture, just the team comps, if this was actually even gold, even then, TSM, you could argue that they have a more team fight focused team composition. The tanky mid laner, the Sejuani ultimates that we've seen so critically, even the Kennen ultimate from Lustboy really locked down the potential one carry on this Cloud9 team. Cloud9 needs to actually kind of snowball ahead in this game so that their shields can help their tanks be enabled, and that Sneaky can run in with all the cavalry basically that Cloud9 has put together. Losing this early game makes it more and more difficult. Unless they turn something around soon, they're going to be down 2-1.
Pretty good spike with the Triforce, and the Manamune being finished up here for Bjergsen. He's charging that up quite well. Just about 340 on that. He was just over 20 minutes last time we saw him charging one of those on his Kog'Maw. Lustboy and Turtle back to the top lane. It looks like they're going to start going for these turrets and see if they can get them dropped down. But Meteos looks like he's read this quite well, and it could actually play right into their hands.
Need to get some turret trades going down. Cloud9 in game 1, when they started falling behind early, was able to successfully trade objectives against TSM.
Yep.
Wherever TSM was, Cloud9 was on the other side of the map, and they were using their shove in that way. That game, though, they had pretty decent vision control. This game, it's somewhat lacking. Only defensive wards for Cloud9, meaning anytime they commit on a turret, they are putting themselves at risk.
Looks like they do call Santorin up. Still staying pretty safe. Kind of hard to dive at Kennen, but if you're outside the turret range, you don't have to dive at all. Turtle, a little too far out.
Great ultimate there by Meteos, and absolutely Turtle was too far out on that one. Could not even recover from getting knocked back with his Flash and his Valkyrie. Meteos stuffed it.
Flash and Valkyrie.
Whew. Big play there for Cloud9. Really big play.
That has been something we've seen before. Turtle getting himself a little too comfortable. Cloud9 is definitely going to take advantage. This turret should be going down. 50 seconds is perfect on the clock because they're going to want to go back, rotate to mid, and start getting more pressure on. But this is nice that they don't have to come back to this top lane too much anymore.
And TSM trying to trade, though. Bjergsen actually walking through a turret to attack this Scion. 3-level
He's running.
disadvantage, and a great interrupt there by Dyrus.
It's still a big enough pop, right? Dyrus is going to get the sapling out, chase with the movement speed of his own, and it's not going to be enough before it explodes. Lustboy's coming down. It's only a matter of time now.
It's not so much will he die, but when will he die?
Right, and what is the team going to get out of it?
Exactly. They've already taken the mid lane turret, actually, in all of this. So very ineffective balls early on in the game, but effective enough to open up the mid lane for Cloud9.
All right, so he'll probably farm up what he can down there.
I'm still alive.
Nope, he's dead. All right. See where TSM goes from here. They know he's down. That's going to be great. 15 seconds for that teleport to come back up is something they do have to be wary of. But if they can burn this down, it's going to be theirs uncontested.
And I think it's pretty uncontestable at this point, especially with the Scion dead and TSM burning very little to secure that kill. Dragons may be one of the things TSM needs to use to win this game. Cloud9 has kept the gold pretty close, but that's because miraculously they're up 3 turrets to 1. One thing TSM did in the early game is they slightly valued the CS and experience differential over turrets, but then because Wild Turtle got caught in that top lane a little bit farther out than he needed to be, it punished them with the turret. Again, then they chase a kill for balls, punished with another turret, and suddenly the turrets are the only thing keeping Cloud9 in the game. But because TSM is still stronger as a 5-man unit, as long as they just maintain control and don't get picked off by a very threatening Meteos, they will kind of catapult themselves into a 3,000 or 4,000 gold advantage.
And I love the way they're building as well. Dyrus, he picked up the Catalyst, which could go Rod or Righteous Glory, which he likes, but then he just went Armor, knowing High's not going to be killing me. Sneaky's getting pretty big. I'm going to be able to be on Sneaky all day and just walk around the rest of Cloud9.
Usually when a Maokai goes Catalyst and doesn't upgrade to Rod of Ages right away, dead giveaway. Righteous Glory. Righteous Glory for Dyrus. They're going to rely heavily on Wild Turtle and Bjergsen for damage. Which, honestly, if High gets going a little bit on Lulu, would be a little bit low in the damage department. not having
Yeah.
big damage from their top laner, Sejuani and Kennen, since it's not an AP Kennen, it's just a jungle Sejuani. Could be shieldable damage from Cloud9 in team fights.
Turtle getting as much of the resources to go down in his favor as possible before he takes down this turret. But this just means that TSM knows what they want right now. The rest of the team isn't going to get themselves to do a crazy fight, and they are just biding their time before they do get what they want. Cloud9, however, has squeaked themselves through that river area. Has a nice line of wards behind TSM's front line, which could prove useful here. TSM not on that side of the map, though, and C9's wards not really working too well. They're telling him TSM isn't there at this point, but not where they are, that's for sure. Yeah. Luckily, none of them have died in that 3-man excursion TSM took into the jungle. Dyrus grabs top, and the game continues now.
So
with
much
3
vision in Cloud9's jungle right now. You can tell TSM is kind of prepping the picks, but Cloud9 is nowhere near that spot. Really strange series of events right there. But the turrets have equalized, as we said.
Kills less and less throughout each game here. We're at least 5-5 at this point last game. 30 seconds onto Baron. We saw teams heading for that just a few minutes after it spawned last time. Enough core items as well to make this go down quite quick. And Infinity Edge is finished up onto Sneaky.
Yeah, we need to...
1,200 gold as well.
Yeah, need to look at the power spikes here. Sneaky trying to farm this one out. Very typical of him to sit on an Avarice Blade for a long time. Wild Turtle with Trinity Force and BF is very strong right now. When Last Whisper gets completed onto Bjergsen, he's really going to take off because that could sync with his Manamune transforming. Additionally, Dyrus finished his Frozen Heart, which is huge to match what Balls has. And overall, I think TSM is hitting more power spikes than Cloud9 has right now. But 3 turrets to 3 is actually not the perfect opportunity for forcing, unless they can use these wards that they've placed in Cloud9's red jungle to catch somebody out.
So I think Meteos is going back, buys a Righteous Glory outright with about 1,500. High still sitting on a bit of gold. Over the past few minutes, Cloud9 was sitting on at least 4,000 to 5,000 gold across the board. So it was a good thing that they did not get caught up in a fight here by Team Solomid. But that has been something Cloud9 is strong at, is dancing around their opponent. Right there, we do see a bit of the trade and how much damage has been built up. We haven't actually gotten to see these guys use these spikes yet.
Well, there goes Lulu ult. That was fast. High really thinking that there were more people there. Shows you how little Cloud9 knows about the map right now.
It also goes to show you how much they're in his head.
Yeah. He thinks he's going to get killed as soon as he gets targeted right now. This is huge for TSM. They love this 5-man group in the mid-game trying to push down this turret with poke, and they know there's no Lulu ultimate. Tons of poke.
Waiting on that next wave, slowly creeping up behind them. Still a bit of wave clear to come from that Sivir and Gragas. They're not going to have any trouble with that. Lulu as well, throwing a Glitter Lance if any minions stand tall after all of that clear. TSM are going to have a tough time here. They may have to force this one.
They could, if they go soon, they could get it before the Lulu ult, but honestly, they're not getting enough poke down to warrant a dive.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Wild Turtle does have the strength of the level 2 ultimate on Corki right now. Bjergsen does have the strength of the Last Whisper, but they're just not locking on to the right things, and they end up not being able to get anything done. They can ward around and position for Dragon 3. That's what they'll have to do.
Just about 300 gold. High will have that Rabadon's able to put out a bit more and maybe change the mind of Turtle in some of these fights, and Lustboy if he can cancel them out. It's going to be difficult for them. The Lulu pickup did not make things easy for this game for Cloud9.
Hasn't yet. He's been heavily punished by Bjergsen in the laning phase, which is what we expected to happen a lot in this series.
True.
If High could somehow split with Bjergsen in every game, Cloud9 may actually be the favorites in this series. But that's why Bjergsen is the most valuable player.
Yeah.
He demolishes his lane opponents routinely. And it's a 1,000 gold lead thus far. It's the pressure, though, that is being applied on the map from that mid lane position and the denial of High's farm that they hope to create the most advantages off of.
Well, it's hard to shut down the MVP. Definitely is.
Yeah.
See if we can get a little action.
Oh, here we go again.
Mid lane. Oh, curve it! Curve it! Ah! Yeah! That's pretty good aim, though.
Well,
got it well. So
Again,
what can they do this time?
This is the old Cloud9
this
play.
excursion.
Balls tries to run away, distract as much time as possible, whereas Cloud9 is actually making a play on the other side of the map.
Yeah, they are. Top turret. Dyrus is getting hit up, and there's much more catch potential on the tree here to be cut down. The stun bot of Lustboy comes in, though.
My.
This is why you don't dive a cannon. It gets a little too hard. Lustboy's going crazy right now, and alone saves Dyrus.
2 deaths across the map there for Cloud9. Balls eventually fell, and then, my goodness, the ultimate there. Dyrus, home guard, he's going.
It's going to be right in front of the bear pit. On too high. The glitter lance didn't actually connect all the way. That's going to be the swap as well. High only has a matter of time here before he goes down. It's not going to be Cloud9 that's closing in. It's more members of Team Solomid.
Disaster there for Cloud9. TSM doesn't take the trade.
No.
They steal it all from Cloud9. Balls dies in one lane, the dive fails in the other, and desperately Cloud9 wants to stop this Baron, but that's a tall order.
Meteos, he is there for the 50-50. That's really the only thing that stands. TSM will call off of it. Meteos has no chance to go over the wall now. He's going to be 1v1. Turtle throws his head into the shell and just ducks into the fight. Somehow pops out alive on the other side.
Sneaky's
Meteos
here
throws
now.
the barrel. Turtle does finally go down. Sneaky's going to start throwing the boomerang blades into the pit. That's the early smite, and Dyrus actually comes up with it. That could have been very bad for Team Solomid.
What chaos, but at the end of the day, they only lose Wild Turtle and they secure the Baron. So mission accomplished for TSM. They get the Baron and they extend their gold lead. Such a chaotic end to what was such a clean series of events there for TSM.
Sneaky running down. Dyrus is saying, you're not getting this dragon alone. It looks like Dyrus is actually going to try and start this if he realizes that Sneaky's too far. So good plays by Team Solomid, really repairing what was going on around the map. It looked like Cloud9 had everything instantly turned in favor of TSM there with a quick act from Lustboy.
Well, TSM had that amazing lead from the early game, and it's all about transitioning that into the mid and late game.
Yeah.
And they have been doing so. Cloud9 held on for a bit with some objective trades, but as soon as those trades go wrong, the whole building falls down, right? The cracks show, and it's a collapse. That's basically what's happened here for Cloud9. They were so far behind early game. As soon as they make one mistake in a rotation, TSM goes to crush them. They're trying really hard to get back in this game because it is desperation time right now.
His ultimate just came up, but I don't think they wanted the fight. Slicing Maelstrom will not be used here. Dyrus, the martyr of the fight. He says, guys, leave me. I will be okay. They do pick up, Sneaky picks that one up with 3 assists on the team. I'm not sure TSM is too worried about that just now. They have some room to work with here. A 5,000 going on 6,000 gold lead in just 100. And they have been playing it quite strong.
The longer Cloud9 can keep the waves pushed out, the less they have to worry about the Baron buff that TSM has. Ideally, Cloud9 doesn't want to lose their second-tier turrets here, so they want to stay on the offensive, but they're just not that strong. They have a numbers advantage at the moment, so if they can catch someone from TSM, that's the play.
Elixir of Wrath for Bjergsen. He loves those elixirs. His Mirror Mana finished up a little bit ago, so he's going to be outputting quite a bit of damage. And really great plays. You can definitely see the confidence from Team Solomid's play. That was obviously a call from Dyrus. Nobody was like, Dyrus, you're half health. Quick teleport in. He was probably saying, I'm home guarded. I can still make this work.
Immediately.
Let's make it happen. Immediately.
He didn't even wait to heal the full.
Exactly.
Because he saw the play right away. First off, he survives and makes a great flash over the wall. Secondly, he comes up big. He's really performing. I mean, of all people, Charlie, the Cloud9 coach, said Dyrus would step up in this series. If TSM is to win, it needs to happen. Well, TSM is winning this game, and Dyrus has stepped up.
It is true. What was Dyrus doing to Ackerman when they went to playoffs last year, right? Getting a little too excited. Even the team said, Dyrus, you need to calm down. You're throwing us off our game because you're so crazy. Here, again, he's just being a rock that TSM needs. Doesn't need to go crazy, just needs to be consistent, and that's what they're getting. 3 dragons now as we're 27 minutes into the game, a 7-3 lead. It just seems like TSM really, as you've said before, Jack, prides themselves on fixing their mistakes in a best-of-5 series and being able to just come out on top.
Yeah, the Urgot first pick, very huge here. Elixir consumed for Bjergsen. Urgot's Wrath now going to be attacking this next turret. Baron buff is up, though, so I think that's about as far as this push goes.
Sneaky trying to do his damnedest to get a mid push going down. Second tier turret falls. He's got one hit on that siege minion, and it looks like
how'd
just
Sneaky get
enough time to keep going on this inhibitor turret. This is going to be the stop backs now coming in. Dyrus should be able to get there. He has home guard, but that inhibitor turret's going down. TSM's actually going to take the fight as well. Lustboy to the back line, but that's not damage. That's the stun bot. Cloud9 walks out, and they might still have the defense.
TSM is trying to hit a home run here by getting an ace, but they're giving up their front door right now. How did Sneaky make it all the way to that side of the map
home run
with no TSM response? Cloud9 takes an inhibitor with this. 3 kills, no dragons, and Sneaky does it. He might even get out alive.
Absolutely amazing. Home run definitely curved foul right at the last second there from TSM. Swinging for the fences, and it fell right in front of him. So
just
now
go back to base. No need to engage. Man, big time play by Cloud9. Still down, 7,000 gold, but that buys them a lot of time. Tons of time.
Very much so. For being on the back foot, it was interesting to see that mind game there they played with Team Solomid. TSM said, oh, they're engaging. They're going to go way too far. And that's exactly when Cloud9 pulled back. And that's where you want to be, in the head of your opponents. Keeps Cloud9 in a very good fight, and somehow grabbing an inhibitor, 7,000 gold down.
Yeah, plus all the free farm that Sneaky got while pushing multiple waves there. 284 CS now on Sivir, 3 major items. If they can somehow protect him up, maybe in an extended team fight, Cloud9 can pull something around. We kind of knew that was the win condition for Cloud9. Get Sneaky ahead, get the shields going. If TSM doesn't build enough damage into the non-Urgot and Corki members, then maybe Sneaky can AoE people down in a team fight. And that is a stronger maybe now that Sneaky's been able to do that.
Very true. Also see a Rylai's Crystal Scepter picked up here on Lustboy. One of the only times I might say it's okay. You're not the guy going in to kill.
Are they trying to fight?
It looks like it. That was on the hunt. Balls comes through, rings the dinner bell for Bjergsen. Now, Lustboy goes in. That's going to be the Rylai slowing C9 to re-enter the fight, as well as Dyrus. Vengeful Maelstrom mitigating all the damage that the front line has taken. Lustboy finally falls after the fight has already been extended to a long one. Falls now to the back line. He goes down. With Lustboy down, that means TSM still has damage on the map, and they're going to push forward.
Cloud9 must have seen the window, seeing Dyrus is off on the side, but he could easily teleport in for that fight. A poor force there by Cloud9, losing their front line in that battle. Cloud9 did not have the lead to be willing to force like that with the sign off. They end up losing a turret afterwards.
This is good. Do they stop it, though? Do they stop the backs? Oh, it's already Santorin in the base. No worries. The minions will be stopped before they get to the Nexus turret. Still looks like Lemon wants to put a little bit of pressure on to get as much as they can out of this one. It's not going to be much more than just the pressure.
I mean, at least they have those super minions in the mid lane, so...
Right, a little bit of time.
Cloud9 should only force like that if the super minions are going to be taking something from the TSM base, or if TSM has a base defender that is trapped there. A questionable fight for Cloud9. It's actually been one of their Achilles' heels throughout the year, is just taking some really aggressive fights when they're really far down in gold.
Right.
It didn't used to be a problem for Cloud9 because they were never
the fight.
They were never behind in games.
Right.
And what is happening? They're going for, oh my god, Balls is the human distraction right now. They're going for Baron. Balls is trying to pressure the base.
They can keep Bjergsen out of that. He's going to have to stay and fight the whole time. Kai may go down, or rather, Balls is going to go down in this situation, but Bjergsen's far away. Santorin flies through. There's the Glacial Prison. Lemon Nation won't stand long. Neither will Balls. Kai has already fallen in the fight, and it is going to be a Team Solomid ace on Cloud9 at the Baron Pit.
Some incredibly questionable decision-making by Cloud9 right there. Trying to 4v4 force a Baron. Just the fact that they can trade a useless Scion for a useful Urgot does not mean the other 4 members can 4v4 at Baron right there. Lustboy lands a beautiful ultimate, and the entire Cloud9 team gets wiped.
They've just given themselves so much breathing room. Rinse and repeat. You're obviously not going to get a double turret push with an inhibitor, but you just did what you need to replicate. Wait for them to push too hard and figure out a way to get around that fight and flank them. Oh, man. Lustboy playing with death.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous series of events right there. Cloud9...
Yeah, over and over.
Cloud9 made one good play, which was the inhibitor take, but they followed it up with 2 poor choices. And TSM is again in full control of this game 3. Now with Baron, Ace, their inhibitor should be respawning soon, and the ability to probably close this game.
Another 6 minutes as well. Aspect of the Dragon is theirs. That's only going to make it harder for Cloud9 to do anything in this game. 3 frozen hearts built up to make the fights even harder, and we'll see this big scuffle once again.
Yeah, I mean, this was just Dyrus being a tank, coming in beforehand.
Nice.
A nice ultimate there by Santorin. Not spectacular, just hits the front line, but that's all they needed to do because TSM as a 4-man unit are stronger than Cloud9 as this 4-man unit, especially since Cloud9 had been hitting Baron. And now TSM pushing up that mid lane with the Baron minions.
Big fan of those Lustboy ultimates, how he uses the outside of the ring. That change to his W is very big. TSM now gonna fly through on this one. The swap for balls, he gets taken down immediately and really provides no threat to anybody on the team. Even Cloud9 knows they cannot try to get any extra pressure on with that distraction. Great third game coming in here from Team Solomid. They definitely used momentum from game 2 to make this one work.
Well, they're not even waiting for minions here. A little bit greedy, but they are so strong. Cloud9 recognizing the greed, tries to fight.
That's the Sivir ultimate. Lemonation goes down. Dyrus is gigantic right now. The main tank on that turret the entire time, and he gets out alive. Turtle and Dyrus are bleeding red, but the base is open, and TSM's about to tear it down.
They just got to go catch that minion wave in the mid lane. They have 4 people dead on Cloud9. Balls coming up shortly. 2 people to defend here for Cloud9, but 5 pushing for TSM.
34 minutes on the clock. The first Nexus turret will fall as Team Solomid pushes their advantage here. Very nicely done coming into game 3 with the Urgot composition out of the mid lane. Bjergsen again on a 5-0-8, a great KDA to bring the team up for a victory here. 20-4 at 34 minutes. Team Solomid make the series 2-1 over Cloud9.
And again, the reverse sweep becomes a possibility.
And indeed it does.
Team Solomid drops the first game of the series. They come back in game 2, win a very hard-fought game. And then here in game 3, there was almost never a doubt. From the very beginning, the jungle harassed by Lustboy, the wave control that TSM had in the top and bottom lanes, and the domination that Bjergsen had